Hello, friends! What's up? I'm doing another history up. I love doing these so much. This time, I decided to start giving them subtitles, like secondary titles, if you will. This time, it is K-pop's forgotten girl group, The History of Secret. Okay, here's the deal. We did 21 like forever ago. We also just did Miss A. And I'm on a second gen girl group kick. Like I'm having a moment for them. I said this in the last one, but like I'm having a second gen girl group moment. So I decided Secret is a bit of a natural progression of that because here's the thing. I am a lunatic. I check Soon Piano K-pop twice a day. I check it when I wake up, I check it before I go to bed, just in case I missed anything that I didn't see on Twitter. Like, I just like to be aware of the goings-on of society. So I check it twice a day. And specifically, All K-pop has constantly been posting stuff about Secret, which is so weird to me because I feel like nobody talks about Secret. So like it got the wheels turning, let's say. It got me going. It got me excited. Now, before we continue, I want to warn you. Aside from this 80-something slideshow, I have no props for this video. The demonic entity that was once TS Entertainment has shut down, thank the Lord, which means I can't buy things through like official channels unless like some random website just has stock still, which I don't think any of them do. I checked like two and I couldn't find anything from like the websites I usually buy from. And then eBay, it's cheaper. I will concede it is cheaper than Miss A because Miss A eBay listings are pricey, but secrets are not cheap. And I make no money from this channel, so I want to like limit the money I spend on this channel for the time being. Like, yes, I bought like things over the years, but I don't want to like go crazy with each history of because then I will literally go broke. So many slides in this slideshow. I believe there's 87. So we will not be lacking for things to view, but like there's no like physical albums. Also, just like with Miss A and 21, this is going to be very historically based. Okay, like I was never a Secret stan, especially when they were active. They haven't been active since I got into K-pop. Not really. So I have like a very little first-hand knowledge that I can share with you, but it's fine. I love to learn. We love to learn in this house, and I have literally learned everything there is to learn about Secret. Now it is shout out time. It is time for my standard shout outs because we must always give credit where credit is due. First, the Queen, Miss Smokey Glow. She's, if I had to guess, done with YouTube. She's posted like 5 videos saying she's coming back and then never comes back. And in the last one, she was like, yeah, like I filmed other videos, like I'm so ready to be back, and then never posted the other video. So like I assume she's done and is just living like normal human life now, which good for her. But either way, she used to make these evolution of videos that I loved. I probably still love them if I watch them, but I loved them at the time they came out. They have inspired this entire series. She basically used to like take YouTubers and makeup companies and would run through their history. I do that but with K-pop groups. Next is the bestie. I'm not dragging her to Nicki Minaj, but I did think about it. But either way, I am dragging her to Enhypen, which means like she gets a shout out. Like she puts up with me. She puts up with me to no end, and she has to earn something for that. Lastly, Bean. We must praise Bean. Bean is the greatest person ever. Bean is the reason my channel is still going. Okay, like she is the reason I can make these long videos, and also around the time I post this, I don't know what day I'm posting this yet, but around the time I post this, it will be Bean's birthday. So happy birthday, Bean. One more thing and then we'll like really get started, which is just disclaimer time. First disclaimer, I'm not doing every activity. Absolutely not. I can't be bothered. I don't have the time. Like, do you expect me to sit here and be like, then on April 12th, Secret went on M Countdown? Absolutely not. No, you're getting the big activities. It's a lot of releases, a lot of that type of thing, but you're getting the important stuff. I'm not doing all of it. Disclaimer number 2, as always with these videos, I'm only covering their active years. Okay? That means I think Secret officially, I think, like I don't know the answer. Secret officially broke up in 2018. But up until then, like the members did not disappear off the face of this earth. They're still people. So like, while yes, I'm aware they're doing things, I'm only talking about the active years of Secret. Number 3, TS Entertainment, the company that created Secret. They're the worst. Like literally the worst ever. They have been sued by nearly every artist that has ever signed with them. Every single group at the very least has had at least a couple members sue the company. and they suck. Like, when I constantly am bringing up that TS is a demonic entity that came from the depths of hell and we should all be glad it's gone, I need you to understand that I am correct. Lastly, opinions, okay? I will at times be making opinion-based statements, like whether I liked a song, whether I think a comeback was successful. These are opinions, and you can disagree with all of them. Okay. I think that covers everything. So let's go meet the members. Hi, hello, welcome to member time. It's member time. As always, we have to meet the members, because what is Secret without its members? And in order to pretend we're unbiased, we always go in age order, which means first up we have the one and only Jun Hyosung. Hyosung was born on October 13th, 1989, and she continues my theory. I have a theory that leaders have a billion roles in any group. Okay, she was the leader, the main dancer, the lead vocal, and the face of the group. Now, Hyosung's pre-debut lore is actually pretty well documented, believe it or not. She was a trainee under Good Entertainment and was supposed to debut in their girl group, Five Girls. Now, this group obviously fell through. She's in Secret. But the people she was with in this group, like, they all went on to be idols, right? Like, you had Gina, who debuted as a soloist under Cube Entertainment. You had Yubin from Wonder Girls. Like, they all went their separate ways, but they were meant to debut in a group together. Hyosung fun fact time. First, she's a massive Beyonce fan, which taste, me too. But also, she even like performed Beyonce covers at Secret concerts. Like, she was there. She was in it. Okay, she also attended in our college for like a month or two before joining Secret. And she was the captain of her middle school dance team, which I find very wholesome. Also, can we have a moment for a minute for the days when like idols could debut college age? Like, that's not a thing anymore. Okay, we all saw the tweet, right, where it was like Johnny and the new High Girl group, and everyone was like, the youngest member of this group was born after he started training at SM Entertainment, and everyone was like, oh my god, Johnny's so old, and I saw like a couple quote tweets, I was like, no. Johnny's like a normally aged adult to be a famous person. It's not our fault that not even Hybe, like all the companies just like to debut children, and I'm convinced it's for malicious reasons. Our next member is Jung Hana, who was born on February 2nd, 1990, and was Secret's main rapper, lead dancer, and sub-vocal. There's actually not a ton of like pre-debut lore for her. The only thing I could really find that I felt like sharing was that she went to the same dance academy as CL from 2NE1, so good for her, but we're gonna jump ahead to her fun facts. First, her original stage name was Zinger. Awful. 0 out of 10. I will not be referring to her as that, and even she knew it was terrible. Like, she changed it. Before Secret even broke up, like, she was like, absolutely not. I will be going back from now on. You will not be calling me fucking Zinger. Absolutely not. So at least she had that vision. She also currently has a YouTube channel, which I bring up because, like, 3 days before I started taking these notes, she posted something again, which is insane because I feel like that was my doing. Anyway, next member, Song Jian. She was born May 5th, 1990, and was Secret's main vocal. Jian also has some pre-debut group lore, which is that she trained at JYP. She was a JYP trainee. She trained with Hyorin from Sistar, and they almost debuted in a group together. Before that, obviously, also fell through. Hyorin went on to Starship, and Jian went on to TS. Fun fact time. Jian, I would say prolific, but our last video had Suji in it. So she's not quite Suji levels of prolific actress, but she's been in a ton of stuff over the years, so good for her. She also had a YouTube channel for like a brief stint, but not like in a YouTube way. Like, Hana's is like YouTube-y in her ways. June's was just for her music. She just used it to promote her music, and she hasn't released anything in a while, so her YouTube channel's been inactive for like years. Last member, Han Sunghwa. She was born on October 6, 1990, and was the group's vocal, visual, and maknae. Sunghwa was another member with very little pre-debut lore to discuss, so we're gonna do fun facts, okay? First, her brother, Sungu, Han Sungu. You may know him from X1, but if you have taste, you knew him from Victon first. The girls know. But her brother is Sungu from X1 and or Victon, whichever one you know him from, that's him. Also, she, another prolific actress for her credits, like both before and after Secret. She was prolific. And speaking of after Secret, she was the first one to leave Secret. Taste, genius queen. Anyway, that finishes up the members. She was the last one. There's only 4. And with that, we can begin our timeline. Okay, pre-debut lore. I lost my wand, by the way. I'm sure it's somewhere in this room, and I'm gonna look for it. But for now, pre-debut lore. Our pre-debut lore begins in 2009 with the release of Secret Story, Secret's pre-debut documentary, which aired on Mnet. I found the wand. It was on this box. Spatial awareness is a lovely thing, isn't it? I don't have it clearly, but some people apparently do, so good for them. Anyway, Secret's pre-debut show ended with their debut showcase that September, and then in October they would debut. Secret officially debuted though on October 13th with the release of their digital single, I Want You Back. It also had the B-side, 3 Years, 6 Months. The song did fine, all things considered. It peaked at number 47 on the weekly melody chart. They spent a couple weeks there. It was no like massive hit, but for a new girl group from a relatively new company, they did a great job. Musically though, how do I want to phrase this nicely? This song is of its time. It is very auto-tuned. It sounds a lot like it could have been a B-side on a 21, like debut album, specifically on 21's like first mini album, 21. And it's just so interesting. It didn't age the best, frankly, and I think that's interesting because I think later Secret titles, for the most part, still hit. Like, they still hold up. Their debut is a rare miss in that way. We also already have our first batch of solo time. Sunhwa, 10 days after debut, joined the show Invisible Youth. She's in this picture somewhere. It's very blurry up close. Don't ask me which one she is. But she was on the show. She would be there until December of 2010. And this was like a thing. People were fascinated by the fact that Sunhwa, a 10-day-old idol, was able to be on this show. Meanwhile, Jin would join Fly the Sky member Hwani to release the digital single Yesterday. It definitely happened. He got really sick apparently like right after it came out, so there's no real promotions for it, but it did happen and it did chart, so good for them. Secret as a group though would spend the rest of the year just promoting their debut single and also doing regular year-end stuff. So we're gonna jump ahead to our first retrospective. Welcome to the retrospective corner. Now, for those who are new here, I like whenever I do these videos, I just like to wrap up each year with a nice little retrospective. We go over the highlights. It's like tying a little bow on top. And frankly, 2009 isn't a year I have a ton to say about. They debuted so late in the year that there isn't much here. The only real thing to note is just they started building their fan base. Plus, they are so busy in 2010, so I think we should just jump back to the time. Okay, 2010 time. Secret started off the year by putting out an OST for the show Masters of Study, but it didn't make really any noise, and there's nothing to really say about it, so we're just gonna fast forward for the first couple months of the year. So, April 1st, 2010, Secret released their first mini album, Secret Time. This is the album cover of Secret Time. And it was led by the single Magic and included various other songs, including the 2 songs of Secret's debut digital single. Now, because there is a physical album to discuss, we will talk about physical album sales, but I feel the need to warn you in advance. Every Secret album has flop sales, but like by an objective standard. It's not weird. Most girl groups of the time did have what I might describe as underwhelming physicals, even if they were putting out hit digitals. Secret is one of those groups. Secret never really was a big album seller, even if they've sold like millions of downloads. With that disclaimer, Secret Time sold around 10,000 copies and peaked at number 4 on the Gaon album chart, so it didn't do terribly, but again, like, it was no massive seller. The single, that's where this album shined, okay? It earned Secret their first top 10 on both the Melon and Gaon charts, peaking as high as number 2 on the weekly Gaon charts. The song also easily cleared 2 million downloads and spent around 4 months on the charts. And because the Gaon charts were so new, we said this with Miss A, but it's true for Secret too. This album came out in April, right? The Gaon charts started that January. They were brand new, meaning when this song came out, it was one of the longest charting songs on the newly established chart. Musically speaking, this was also definitely an improvement in terms of my listening experience. It almost reminds me a bit of Hoot by Girls' Generation, and that's interesting to me because this is like 6 months older. Take that as you wish. Around the same time, Sunhwa would make her official acting debut. She appeared in the show More Charming by the Day. Now, there are literally 140 episodes of this damn show. I don't know how many Sunhwa are off the top of my head, but she's in it. She's definitely there for parts of it, so that's fun. And you know what else is fun? You know who else made their acting debut with the show? Crystal from FX. Isn't that just a nice little fun fact? I love a fun fact. But we're going to jump ahead to August when Secret will release their second mini album, Madonna, as well as this title track of the same name. As far as the album itself went, it did fine. It sold around as much as Secret Time had done, but it peaked slightly lower. It peaked at number 5. Like, it's not that deep. It did fine. Madonna, the song, though, very different story. This song went insane, okay? It topped the Gaon charts and peaked at number 2 on the Melon charts. It also sold around 2 million downloads. However, the one area it didn't exceed Magic was its charting length. It only spent around 3 months on the charts, which is still nothing to scoff at. You know what? I need to pause. I need to pause and rant. This is not in the notes. I need to pause and rant for a minute. Okay, here's the thing. I subscribe to this channel. It's called K-Chart Catalog. I'll put it in the description. I love it because I'm a loser and I'm obsessed with the charts. I'll put it in the description. You can check it out. I really would recommend it if you're interested in weird chart shit. But they posted something that was like, why do people be like second gen girl groups were the shit when their longest charting songs wouldn't even hit like 20 weeks? And it's like, here's the deal. I need you to understand, songs in 2010, 2011, they did not chart for more than like 4 months. If you spent 4 months on the charts, you had a hit single. The longest charting song didn't even have 6 months. It pisses me off so much when people try and make this comparison and be like, oh, well, a Girls' Generation's biggest hit is Forever One because it's their longest charting song on the Gaon charts. No. First of all, Girls' Generation's biggest hit is obviously G, which wasn't on the Gaon charts, but more importantly, you can't base everything on charting length. You have multiple streams where you can pull information from to get a hit. It pisses me off when people use one singular metric, especially when that metric is constantly changing. Songs nowadays will chart for like a year and it's a medium hit. Songs 10 years ago, they didn't even chart for a year. Like in 2014, songs barely charted for a year. Some by Soyou and Jung Gi-go did not spend a year on the Gaon charts. It is the best performing single of 2014. It just, okay, I got that off my chest. I'm calm now. Let's talk about the song again, okay? Madonna, the song. It's great. I really like it. I think it is one of Secret's best singles. I was literally singing it while taking notes and also while prepping to film this very section of the video. Like, it's such a bop. Also, story time, okay? Everyone knows the story, but for those who don't, I think it's really funny. So, in 2016, aka around 6 years after Madonna came out, okay, the music video got copyright struck. It got taken down by pop icon Madonna. Like, Madonna the human being, or more accurately, her company, struck down Secret's Madonna music video because Madonna has a song called Secret. So they probably said like, oh, Secret Madonna? Absolutely not. Like, you're just stealing our Madonna stuff. So they took it down, and I think that's hilarious. It's back up now. Like, you can watch it now. But, like, I think it is the funniest shit that icon of pop, the queen of pop, Madonna, struck down a music video by the K-pop girl group Secret. Anyway, Secret didn't do much for the rest of 2010. Not that I really feel like mentioning, at least. So we're gonna jump back to the retrospective corner. Okay, welcome back. Now, 2010 is an important year because this is the year that Secret really became a household name. And by the end of the year, they were already competing against much more established groups for awards like 2NE1 and T-ara. Speaking of awards, because Secret debuted so late in 2009, they actually got a couple Rookie Award nominations in 2010. They got a nomination at the Melon Music Awards that they lost to CNBLUE, and they won at the Golden Disc Awards. Pretty much the only big award show, at least big to me, that they didn't get nominated for Best New Artist at is the Mamas, but the Mamas also suck, so it's not that deep. However, in the grand scheme of things, 2010 was a phenomenal year. They proved themselves to be a major player in the girl group scene, and they would only get bigger in 2011, so let's go discuss. Okay, I need you all to emotionally prepare yourself for the behemoth that is 2011. Secret was so insanely busy this year, and I just need you all to prepare yourselves for that. Like, maybe grab a snack, grab a beverage. I have a Red Bull. This is gonna be a long one. And Secret started off right away. In January, they released their first single album, Shy Boy, as well as its lead single, Shy Boy, and this comeback went insane. First, the album. Even by Secret standards, this album did great. It doubled their highest selling album. It sold over 20,000 copies and peaked at number 4 on the Gaon charts, meaning that to this day, it is the highest selling Korean release by Secret. And speaking of major improvements, Shy Boy, the song, demolished pretty much everything past Secret singles had done, okay? The one area it didn't surpass any of the past ones, it peaked at number 2 on the Gaon charts. Madonna peaked at number 1, but Shy Boy topped the Melon charts, okay? And I'm of the opinion topping the Melon charts is far more impressive than topping the Gaon charts. It also spent around 4 months on the charts, and like past Secret singles, it easily cleared 2 million downloads. But that's not all, okay? Like, this song went insane on streaming. Granted, 2011 streaming was not like 2024 streaming, okay? The most streamed song of 2011 was Good Day, and it had like 40 million streams, okay? Like, they were not doing these behemoth numbers, but Shy Boy was the 6th most streamed song according to the Gaon charts of 2011. Do you want to know what songs it beat? It beat songs like Lonely by 21, beat songs like Tonight by Big Bang. It beat these monster hits. It got more streams. However, the real area where Shy Boy dominated was music show wins, okay? Secret was never a big player in terms of music show wins. Spoilers, they only have 6 in total. But 5 of them came from this song, including 3 consecutive wins on Music Bank. Musically though, Shy Boy was actually a very drastic shift for Secret. Past Secret singles were obviously still pop songs, but they were more veered towards dance pop. Shy Boy is bubblegum pop. Shy Boy is cutesy pop. And it was a sound that Secret had never done before. Like, not in their titles, not even in their B-sides. However, as I've just established, this song went insane, okay? Like, it did so well, and it really showcased the group's versatility. And if you ask me, it doesn't hurt that Shy Boy's a complete bop. Following promotions for Shy Boy, TS decided to exploit the monstrous popularity Secret was currently experiencing. Not a weird move. I would have done the same. But we have our first solo debut, which is that June put out Going Crazy, which featured, you can't tell from this image. This image is blurry. All Secret images are blurry. I don't know what to tell you. But Jungkook from BAP, a group I have a very complex relationship with, but Jungkook, he was in this song. The song, which I should have mentioned, the song came out in March, by the way, just like for the timeline. So like Shy Boy is January, Going Crazy is March. And this song, another hit. It topped the Gaon and Melon charts. It spent a week at number 1 on the Gaon charts, 2 weeks at number 1 on the Melon charts, and had over 1.5 million downloads in just 2011. Like, it was another hit for the group. This song is also excellent, by the way. I'd actually never heard it before making this video. I don't know how, like, because, like, again, I was a huge BAP stan. I've heard the Bang Zello song like 30 times. I don't know how I never heard this one, but either way, I never heard it. It's really good. Like, it is excellent levels of good. It's just, I don't think of Secret when I think of Secret. I don't think of Secret as having amazing vocals. Not that, like, they were bad singers, but it didn't hit in the same way as, like, a 21 song would, as a Miss A song would. Like, these are groups where when I think of their main vocals, I think of powerful vocals. Secret was never one of those groups. Jin, she sounds so good here. Like, I had to reevaluate my own views of Secret after listening to this song. Jumping ahead to June 1st, though, Secret would release their second single album, Starlight Moonlight, which was led by a single of the same name. As always, let's start album sales. Secret did experience a pretty strong drop in album sales. Shy Boy, you may recall, sold 20,000 copies. Starlight Moonlight sold 12. It did, however, peak higher. It peaked at number 2. It is to this day tied for the highest peaking Secret album because, spoilers, they never got a number 1. Now, let's talk singles. Because if you ask me, Starlight Moonlight is the most successful song Secret ever put out. Like, spoilers, we're peaking now, but, like, this song did numbers, okay? It also peaked at number 2 on the Gaon charts, but just like Shy Boy, it topped the Melon charts. It earned Secret their second number 1 single on the Melon charts, and it spent months charting. It also would top the June monthly chart, which, fun fact, because it did not top the weekly Gaon charts, it only topped the weekly Melon charts, but it still topped the monthly Gaon charts. Starlight Moonlight is the first song ever to have topped the monthly chart without topping the weekly chart. I just think that's a fun fact. But also, on top of all that, it got over 3 million downloads. It is, to this day, in 2024, 13 years-ish after this song came out, it is still one of the best-selling singles in Korea. On top of that, this song would earn Secret their 6th and final music show win. Like, yes, Secret goes on to have hits after this. Don't think that Secret is over. but like they never went on a music show again. Again, they were never big music show players with the sole exception of Shy Boy, but they did get their last win with this, so I feel the need to point it out. Plus, it won them some bonus songs too. They won a bonus song at the Golden Disc Awards and at the Melon Music Awards. Now for the song itself. Starlight Moonlight, in a similar vein to Shy Boy, I'm sure TS was simply just trying to recreate the insane success they saw, but it was again cutesier. It was again more bubblegum pop. The difference is, I don't think it hits like Shy Boy does. Following promotions for Starlight Moonlight, Secret would make their official Japanese debut. They released a Japanese mini album, Madonna, which, if you couldn't figure that out, had the Japanese version of Madonna on it. It also had some other Japanese versions on it. And it sold pretty well. It sold 25,000 copies and peaked at number 9 on the Japanese charts. And fun fact, we love a fun fact here, because it sold 25,000 copies in Japan, this is actually the best-selling album in the Secret cinematic universe. However, we do not spend long in Japan. Secret quickly returned to Korea for the release of their first full album in October. The album, Moving in Secret, had the lead single, Love Is Move. The album did pretty well, at least by Secret standards. It sold 17,000 copies and peaked at number 3 on the balance charts. The single, meanwhile, while technically a decline in success, was still absolutely a hit. Again, I will remind you, it was released in October. It had 2.3 million downloads in just 2011, as well as peaking at number 3 on the weekly Gaon charts. Musically speaking, Love Is Move is a bit of a return to form, actually. It's a lot more similar to their 2010 singles, as opposed to the more bubblegum pop 2011 ones. And it hits, if you ask me. Like, this is low-key one of my favorite Secret titles. However, Secret is still not done releasing music. Do not think that because they've put out 3 Korean releases and a Japanese single that they're done. No. They're still going. They, in November, released their first Japanese mini album, Shy Boy. It had a Japanese version of Shy Boy. You shouldn't be surprised. But it did pretty well. It sold around 15,000 copies and also peaked at number 9 on the Japanese charts. And with that, we have finished 2011. I was not exaggerating when I said this was a long year. Like, Secret was booked and busy, but we'll deal with that in the retrospective corner. Okay. I warned you in advance 2011 was busy, and I did not disappoint. Like, it's been a minute since we were here, but that said, I think we can all agree Secret had not just an amazing year in 2011, but like arguably one of the best years, I should say, that any girl group has ever had. Actually, though, they put out multiple massive hits, and their singles from 2011, like as a group and as solos, have a combined total of around 10 million downloads just in 2011, okay? Like, when I tell you Secret was doing phenomenally well, like, for context, okay? That's probably more downloads than the entire catalogs of groups like IVE and New Jeans. On top of that, we saw some Japanese expansion. We saw our first solo song, which did exceptionally well. Secret was just all around thriving in 2011. And with that, let's move to 2012. Welcome back. It's 2012 time. Let's get into 2012. Kicking off the year, Hyosung would make an appearance in the show Salamander, Guru, and the Shadows. She had a cameo, but the reason I'm bringing this up because one of the other people in that cameo was Gina, who you might recall Hyosung almost debuted with. That's Gina. She almost debuted with Gina, and I just think that's like a cute little fun fact. Like, they almost debuted together under Good Entertainment, and now they're having cameos now that they're both releasing hits. After that, though, Secret would actually turn their attention back to Japan. They released their second Japanese single, So Much for Goodbye, which came out on February 29th. I love a good rare February 29th release date. And while you may have noticed, So Much for Goodbye is not the name of a Korean release by Secret. This was their first original Japanese song. It did also see a very sharp decline in terms of Japanese success. It only sold around 10,000 copies and peaked at number 17 on the charts. And as a casual frame of reference, their debut single in Japan sold more than double that. In support of the new single, though, we get our first Secret tour. Secret went on tour in Japan. They performed 3 shows in early March. However, following the end of Secret's tour, they actually took a break. They deserved a break. You may have noticed Secret has been busy for the past, 18 months. They needed a break. They took a well-deserved break, so we're going to fast forward to June. So, on June 13th, Secret would return to Japan. They released their third Japanese single, Twinkle Twinkle, and it did even worse than the last one. It only sold around 8,000 copies, and while it did peak slightly higher, it peaked at number 16, I think we can all agree bit of a decline. It's fine though, because Twinkle Twinkle was very quickly followed by the release of Secret's first full album in Japan, Welcome to Secret Time, and it was led by the Japanese version of their latest Korean single, Love Is Move. The album didn't do phenomenally well, but it did do better than the past couple releases had done. It sold 12,000 copies and peaked much higher. It peaked at number 11. Next, we have some more solo lore, which is that Sunma went on We Got Married. This is the We Got Married logo. Who remembers We Got Married? We Got Married was a weird time, but she went on We Got Married with Hwang Kwang-yi from, depending on how you know him, I'm going to say Infinity Challenge. No one knows him from his JO days. We know him from Infinity Challenge. Anyway, they would be on the show together until March of 2013, so just keep that in mind. Then, on September 13th, Secret would return with the release of their third Korean mini album, Poison, as well as its lead single of the same name. The album did fine. I can say that with any Secret album, but like it did fine. It sold 11,000 copies, peaked at number 3, like it did fine. The single is a bit complex. On the one hand, it did well. It peaked number 4, earning Secret their 6th top 10 on the Gaon charts and on the Melon charts, as well as having around 1 million downloads. So like, it did fine, but prior Secret singles had all peaked in the top 3, and they all had like 2 million downloads. So like, this one did well, it just didn't do as well. The one area where Poison did do very well was YouTube. Secret never got big YouTube numbers, even for the era. Poison was kind of the exception. It has over 25 million views on the music video, which I think is a pretty respectable number given the age of this song. The song itself, meanwhile, is another banger for sure. It's again more dance poppy, and it is very possibly my favorite Secret single, although to be fair, it is also the one I've heard the most. Secret would actually come back pretty quickly with their second digital single, Talk That, it's just Talk That, and that came out on December 4th. The song, again, like, it did well objectively, but for Secret, it did show a continued decline. It is their first single since their debut to fail to enter the top 5 of the Gaon charts. It peaked at number 6, and also, again, it saw continued decline in downloads, selling around 979,000, which, again, like, that's good, but it's not what Secret used to be doing. Musically speaking, meanwhile, this song's a lot more toned down than past Secret singles. It's on the much more chill side of things. It does still hit, but like, it's not my favorite. However, Talk That promotions were put on hold pretty quickly because Secret got in a car accident like a week after the song came out. It is insane to me how many groups I'll be researching, just like either for one of these videos or just for funsies, and they'll be like, oh yeah, they had a car accident. Like, they drive home at like 2 a.m. and the managers probably didn't sleep, because we know the members don't sleep. The managers probably didn't sleep. They're driving the damn car. People crash all the time, and like, it's very concerning. The number of times I see something where it's like, yeah, this idol got in a car crash. Like, they're fine, but they got in a car crash. Like, we need to do better. Anyway, most of the members were fine, for the record. Hana wasn't. She broke some ribs and bruised her lung. The other 3 went back to promoting, but Hana went on immediate hiatus. Also, who loves a good crazy K-pop story where K-pop fans show they're kind of the worst people in the world? I say as one of them, but apparently post this car accident, people were sending hate to Hana. You know, the one who wasn't driving the car and had to go to the hospital because she broke her ribs and bruised her lung. She was the one getting hate. She literally posted like an apology thing. Not even an apology. She was just like, what do you want her to do? What did you want from her? Why are we sending her shit? She didn't do anything. Now, you might be thinking, Secret just got in a car accident. There's probably nothing to discuss, right? You are wrong. You are dead wrong. A reminder, TS Entertainment is the worst label ever and has been sued by everyone for good reason. On December 27th, Secret member Sunma, she's over there, Sunma would team up with Yoo Young-jae, member of BAP and half of one of my favorite pairings of all time, to release the single Everything Is Pretty. Now, this song was first of all, it was obviously pre-recorded, but it was technically like a thank you gift to fans of both groups, and I would be hesitant about sending a thank you gift to your fans who are currently bullying the member in the hospital, but whatever, that's just me. Either way, this song, it was no hit. It did not do what Jiun's single had done the prior year, but it did fine. It peaked at number 22 on the charts, so it was not, like, terrible. Also, because I'm an insane person, I found listings for this single on like eBay and shit. Apparently there was a physical album for it. I assume it was just like one of those special things, like how you can technically get a copy of Cactus by Ace. It's just really rare and people sell it for like $2,000. So like there is a physical single of this. I have no idea how many copies it sold. I don't know how well it did, but it does exist out there in the ether. Anyway, we're still not done. The 3 remaining Secret members, aka Naha, would go on the SBS Gayo that year, which had a theme of collaborations and whatnot. It was the colors of K-pop, that's the theme, that's why it's on here. But their theme was like special collaborations. 2 of them would be including Secret members, so let's go discuss those. Let's start less successful, okay? Sunhwa would join Mystic White, that's this lineup, Mystic White, to release the single Mermaid Princess, which peaked at number 10 on the Gaon charts. Hyosung, meanwhile, she joined Dazzling Red. Now, if you looked at this lineup, you would immediately know which of the 2 was going to be more successful. Dazzling Red had Hyuna, it had Hyorin. Like, this was the one that was going to have the hit, and they did. They put out This Person, which peaked at number 2 on the Gaon charts, making it the highest charting, secret-related single in well over a year. And with that, we have now finished 2012. We are now done with 2012. So we can head back to the retrospective corner. Okay, 2012 is a complicated year for me, but to be fair, I always think it's a complicated year when you have to follow up what is undeniably an artist's peak year. Like, by most standards, Secret did phenomenally well in 2012. They put out multiple top 10s, the members picked up 2 more of their own, they had their first tour, they did well in Japan, they were doing good. However, 2012 is also undeniably a decline from 2011's success. In 2011, they not only put out multiple top 10s, they put out multiple number 1 songs on the Melon charts. And their last single in 2012 didn't even break into the top 10 on the Melon charts. Granted, it charted well, but it still failed to hit that threshold. And this decline can also be seen in their digital sales. Talk That was Secret's first single to fail to sell 1 million downloads since their debut. And while, yeah, it sold 900 and something thousand, it sold well. That's, again, a threshold that they never managed to clear again. Spoilers, they never have a song sell 1 million downloads again. It's never gonna happen. Like, again, 900,000 downloads is nothing to scoff at, but it is still a decline from the millions their 2011 single sold. Basically, Secret did well in 2012. From, like, an objective point of view, they did well. But it's also in the same way that, like, 21 did well in 2013. Like, yes, they were doing well, they were putting out hits, but it's not to the same caliber as the hits they'd previously put out. And with that, let us move to 2013. Okay, 2013. 2013 starts off with the resuming of Talk That promotions, originally as 3, and then on January 22nd at the Seoul Music Awards, Hana would rejoin as well. She would perform with the group, making them back to being 4. Now, I would like to preface everything I'm about to say by the fact that I am not a doctor. I had the lowest grades every single semester would be in the science class I took when I was in high school. Like, I am not a science bitch, okay? But I am a Googler. And I Googled, I was curious. I was like, this seems like a pretty short hiatus for, like, broken ribs and a bruised lung. So I Googled how long does it take to heal broken ribs? Because I know with broken ribs, the whole thing is, like, you can't really, like, heal. You literally just have to not really move. So I Googled, I was like, how long does it take for broken ribs to heal? Google told me 6 weeks. Does anyone want to guess how long Hana's hiatus was? 6 weeks to the day. Good job. I'm very proud of you. Yeah, in summary, TS Entertainment sucks. The one thing that I will say, like, it could be worse. It's not like they went immediately, like, on tours. I mean, they actually went on hiatus after the Seoul Music Awards and after Talk That promotion, so, like, it could have theoretically been worse, but this is still very suspicious. However, just because I said they didn't go on tour doesn't mean TS isn't still the worst. They went and had a concert. They had a concert, to be fair, in March, on March 29th at that, so, like, they had 2 full months of a break, but even so, concert. They went to Singapore, which is a fun time. I would love to go to Singapore. I would get jailed, but I would love to go, because it sounds like such a cool place to be. But either way, Secret went. They sold out 5,000 tickets for their show, and also the whole theme of the concert, let's say, was to build hype for their then upcoming next album. Speaking of, a month later, on April 30th, Secret released their fourth mini album, Letter from Secret, as well as its title track, Yoo-Hoo. The album continued our trend of declining success, at least in terms of the album sales. It didn't even sell 10,000 copies, and is to this day the lowest peaking Secret album. It peaked at number 7. Yoo-Hoo did better. Like, objectively, it did better. It did see an improvement in some ways. Notably, it peaked at number 5 on the Gaon charts and at number 8 on the Melon charts. It earned the group another top 10 on each one. However, it did still fail to clear 1 million downloads. It sold 950,000. It's not like it was like, oh, it sold 500 from 1 million. Like, it's still close, but that is still a threshold it didn't manage to break. The song itself, meanwhile, it's a return to cutesiness. Their last 3 titles, you might recall, had been more dance pop. This is a return to cutesiness, and while I can't prove it, I would not be surprised if TS was hoping to sort of reclaim some of that success they'd seen with Shy Boy and Starlight Moonlight, aka Secret's 2 biggest singles. I wouldn't put it past them. I can't prove it. That's just a theory. Also, quick note, I've been refusing to call her as such because the stage name is terrible. This is when Hana was like, please stop calling me Zinger. Absolutely not. So, like, I haven't been doing it. I've been respecting her wishes, let's say. But this is when she officially started going by Hana for comebacks. Also, it is time for something that I learned in these notes that I need to share with the general public. Okay, first, in, like, the same time frame, okay, TS Entertainment, the hell that they are, they had to make a statement. They said, hey, there's someone on Facebook pretending to be Hyosung. Hyosung doesn't have a Facebook. Please do not engage with any Hyosung Facebook. It's not her. I think it's so funny and such a, like, sign of the times that in 2013, the way you would impersonate a famous person is you pretended to be them on Facebook. If you were wondering, because I thought this through for sure, I would pretend to be someone on Tumblr. Because I have logic for this. Tumblr has no verification system as far as I am aware, which means you can't actually, like, prove that someone isn't someone, if that makes sense. Like, you can't verify it. So, like, there's that. And also, I feel like a secret Tumblr is absolutely something that, like, an idol would have, whereas, like, a secret Facebook isn't it. So, like, I personally, I'm faking it on Tumblr. Anyway, after Yoo-Hoo promotion, Secret actually went on hiatus again, so we're gonna fast forward another couple months. So, end of September 30th to be exact, June became the first Secret member to release a physical album. She released her first single album, Hope Torture, which had a title track of the same name. The album, admittedly, sold horribly. Okay, like, it sold 2,500 copies. That's terrible by any standard. Like, even Secret standards, that's pretty bad. The single did do better. It peaked at number 9 on the Gaon charts, earning June her second top 10 as a soloist. But it did not have the same longevity that her first single did. It dropped off the charts pretty quickly after that. So, like, it was nowhere near the success her first solo single was, but it didn't do bad. Then, jumping ahead another couple months, in December, Secret would release their third single album, Gift from Secret, as well as its title track, I Do, I Do. The album continued the trend of disappointments, let's say. It barely sold 5,000 copies, and it tied their last album for its lowest peaking album, peaking at number 7. However, this time the single is also a disappointment. It became their first single since the Gaon charts were invented to not peak in the top 10. It peaked at number 15. Like, again, it could be worse, but when all your other singles have been a top 10, peaking at number 15 is bad. And also, you remember how in the last release I was saying how, like, they had almost 1 million. They didn't hit 1 million, but they had 950. It's not like they had, like, 500,000. This one had 300,000. Flop behavior. As for the song itself, I think it's pretty good. It's just fun and Christmassy, and I'm weak for Christmas pop, so there is that. However, the objective part of my brain is aware this is probably one of, if not the overall weakest Secret title. And Secret didn't really do anything for the rest of the year. I mean, to be fair, they promoted the song, so they did that. But other than that, that's pretty much it, so we'll head back to the retrospective corner. Welcome back. And can we have honesty time for a minute? 2013 was kind of floppish for Secret. And I use that term for Secret very importantly, not just because we're discussing Secret, but because by the standards set by Secret, it was still a decline. The thing that makes groups like Secret or like Miss A or like 2NE1 interesting to me is because they never really had a flop era, right? Like, if you compare that to other girl groups, like Twice just came back, their song didn't even chart. So like, Secret, in comparison to other girl groups, is doing well, which means that when they do flop, they're still doing well. That said, we cannot deny Secret was seeing a decline in popularity in 2013. Now, to be fair, they were not the only ones. 2013 saw like the real rise of a couple new girl groups, notably A-Pink became like a massive player, as did Girls' Day. But while other groups like Kara were also on the decline, we can't ignore the fact that Secret was still declining. Basically, on the one hand, yes, Secret was flopping by Secret standards. They were still doing well. They were still putting out hits. They were not flopping by an objective standard. And with that, let's move to 2014. Okay, we're in 2014. And 2014 is a bittersweet year for me personally when it comes to Secret, because yes, I still have things to discuss, but that's also kind of the last year where this is really the case. Secret, however, actually started the year off pretty quick by putting out their first Japanese single in over a year with their fourth Japanese single, which was a Japanese version of I Do, I Do. This single did just about as well as their prior Japanese single had done. It sold around 8,000 copies, peaked to number 14 on the chart, so not phenomenally, but just around as well as Twinkle Twinkle. The album also very notably marked their first release under Kiss Entertainment. They'd moved to Kiss Entertainment for Japanese promotions back in June of 2013, and this was their first release with them. Also in February, Hyosung would appear on the show Choyoung, which ran until April. I've never seen the show. I don't know what it's about, but I do know she is there. Then, following promotions for their Japanese single, TS Entertainment announced that Hyosung would become the second member to release a solo debut. She put out her first single album, Top Secret, on May 12th, along with the title track Goodnight Kiss. And this album, it kind of did numbers, okay? Like, it peaked at number 2 on the charts, but more importantly, it sold 11,000 copies, which I know that does not sound like a lot, but for some context, the last Secret-related album to sell that well in Korea was Poison back in 2012, so this is a bump. The single, however, is the part that did insanely well, okay? It got over 700,000 downloads, and peaked at number 9 on the charts, making it the best-selling Secret album and the highest charting Secret album in a good bit. Plus, it spent 4 months on the charts, making it the longest charting Secret album in years. It doesn't hurt that this song kind of fucks, okay? Like, it's sexy, it's cool, I get why it did so well. That July, Secret would embark on another tour, their Japanese tour. It was another Japanese tour. But they embarked on another Japanese tour in promotion for their then upcoming 5th Japanese single, which came out on July 23rd. The album was led by a Japanese version of Yoo-Hoo, and it did see a bit of a decline. Nothing insane, but it only sold around 6,000 copies and peaked lower. It peaked at number 17, so like not their best. Plus, the album is also Secret's last release in Japan as a group, meaning they didn't exactly go out on a high note. But there's no time to dwell on that, because 2 weeks later, on August 11th, Secret would return with their 5th Korean mini album, Secret Summer, as well as its lead single, I'm in Love. And in some good news, this album was the first in a while to outperform the group's previous one, okay? It sold over 10,000 copies, making it their best-selling album in years, and it was their highest peaking as well, peaking at number 2, just behind Winner's debut album. The single, while no massive hit, did also see those same steps of improvement. It peaked slightly higher, it peaked at number 13, and got a bit more downloads, selling around 325,000 copies. And while this is, again, nowhere near the successes they were seeing in 2010, 2011, 2012, we are moving in the right direction. However, unfortunately, this is also the end of, like, Secret releases. Secret doesn't put anything out after this, which means we never actually get to know if this trend of improvement would have continued. Would they have theoretically gotten maybe another top 10? Moving on, in September, June would release the single Don't Look At Me as a pre-release for her then upcoming first mini album. The single did fine. It peaked at number 27 on the charts. Like, it was no massive success, and even for June, it was a drop. Like, for context, her past 2 singles had both peaked in the top 10, so like number 27 isn't ideal. But it's fine, that's just the pre-release. The main album, the real album, would come out on October 14th, entitled 25 with its lead single Pretty Age 25. The album technically did better than her first single did, but it didn't do phenomenally either. It sold around 5,000 copies and peaked at number 6 on the album charts, which is where her first album peaked. The title track, meanwhile, did do better than the pre-release date. It peaked at number 15, but it was no massive hit. Again, her first 2 singles peaked in the top 10, so this wasn't nearly as successful, and also it didn't have any real longevity. It spent a couple weeks on the charts before dropping off. But it's not all bad. That same month, Summer appeared in the show Rosie Lovers, which ran until April of the following year, and she even won some awards for her work on it, so good for her. And as if June wasn't already busy enough with her solo album, she appeared in the show Longing for Spring, which apparently is about horse trauma. I cannot confirm or deny. I didn't actually watch the show, but I read a synopsis, and that was the vibe I was getting, and I find that very funny. Like, yes, give me your drama about horses. Closing out the year, we have our first solo album in Japan. June released 25 in Japan, and it was a bit floppish. It came out in December, and it didn't do well. It didn't even sell 5,000 copies, and it peaked at number 29 on the Japanese charts. Like, it did not do numbers. But that's all we got for 2014, so let us head back to the retrospective corner. Honestly, 2014 is such a depressing year for me to cover in this video because you could see the potential of what could have been. Again, I'm not saying Secret was going to go back to putting on #1 songs, but there was the possibility of another top 10. And like, Hyosung's solo did hit the top 10. Hyosung's solo did numbers. It wouldn't have been weird if, say, a 2015 Secret comeback managed to peak at like number 10 on the Gaon charts. Unfortunately, as we all know, that never came to pass. Secret never has another comeback as a group after this. And it's so depressing because TS could have given them a comeback in 2015. They had more than enough of an option to do so. It's not like Secret was busy in Japan or anything. Like, Secret was available for a comeback. TS just decided not to give them. But we do still have another few things to cover, so we are going to head back to the timeline, because even though there's no more Secret comebacks after this, that doesn't mean there's no more lore to go over. Okay, we've reached 2015, and if you watched my 21 or my Miss A videos, you'll know what I'm about to tell you, but we're handling Secret in the same way for their final years. What I did in those videos and what I will be doing in this one, I'm going to cover the last couple years of Secret all in one big chunk. It doesn't really make sense to do separate retrospectives for each one. It's easier to just do them all in one go and then one big retrospective at the end, because there's no real group lore. It's all solo promotions, and even then, there aren't a ton of them. So we're going to start off 2015 by jumping to May, when Hyosung would put out Fantasia, as well as its lead single, Into You. Starting with the album, it actually sold even better than the first one had done. It sold 16,000 copies, making it the highest selling Secret album, at least Secret-related album, I should say, in Korea, since their full back in 2011. The single, however, did not see the same improvements. It peaked at number 22 on the charts, substantially lower than her last one had done, and also spent way less time charting. It only spent a few weeks on the charts before dropping off. Then, in August, Hyosung returned to Choyeon for season 2, which ran until October, so good for her. Hyosung, however, was not the only one acting. June appeared in the show The Immutable Law of First Love. That is a name for sure, but she was in it. It also ran until October. Then, after finishing the show, June joined another show, Sweet Home Sweet Honey, which is over here. This time, it's a daytime drama, which means it airs every day, and she had the leading role for the 100 plus episodes of it, so good for her. But that just about wraps up 2015, that's all we got for it, so let's jump into 2016. Now, 2015 was very acting focused for Secret. 2016 is different. 2016 is very music focused. Jumping ahead to March, Hyosung released her second mini album, Colored, and its lead single, Find Me. Now, you might recall, Hyosung solos were like the one saving grace of Secret music, right? Like, they were selling well, they charted decently. This was not that. No. It sold 6,000 copies, around a third of what her last album had sold, and the title peaked so much lower, okay? It peaked at number 75 on the Gaon charts and like immediately dropped off. And maybe I'm just biased, because this is literally the only album that I actually streamed when it came out, and maybe it's just me, specifically the title track Find Me, it holds up, okay? Like, this song still slaps. I was listening to it while taking these notes, having the time of my life. After that, we fast forward to September when June released another mini album entitled Bobby Doll with a title track of the same name. And this was absolutely another flop release, okay? Like, the title track didn't chart at all, and the album barely sold 5,000 copies. Like, this did not do well. Unfortunately, right around the same time that June's album came out, TS also announced that Sunhwa had left the group. She had not renewed her contract. She was out of Secret. And whilst I am aware, again, like, Sunhwa did not disappear off the face of the earth. She's still been acting, if you were wondering. But whenever I do these videos and a member leaves the group, that's where I think their story ends. Like, for this, like, the history of Secret no longer includes Sunhwa, so I will not be covering her future activities. On a more positive note, October, Hyosun joined Video Star, which she was on forever, okay? Like, she was on that show until, I believe, March of 2018. Like, she was on there for well over a year, like a year and a half even. So just for the rest of this video, remember she's doing that. But with that, we reached 2017, which is the final real year of Secret. First, in January, we have more Hyosun solo promotions. She appeared in the show My Introvert Boss. She's right there. I didn't watch it, but she's in it. Then we have our final piece of solo lore. June appeared in the show My Secret Romance, and that ran from April until May. However, following that, it is radio silence from Secret, okay? We're gonna fast forward like a year, like into 2018. Now, in February, Hyosun and June would respectively announce they left Secret and were suing TS. I was not joking when I said that everyone has sued TS. I remember there was a list at one point. Like, I mean, there is a list. You can go to their Wikipedia page and see it. But I think it's something like 12 of the artists they've signed. And for the record, TS had, at their peak, maybe 20 people signed to them. And, like, half of them have sued. Anyway, that brings us to the end of Secret. Secret is over. Hana, officially speaking, never actually left TS. Like, she obviously has now. TS shut down. But she was the last one standing, let's say. But all the others, they left. Which means we have reached the end of Secret, and it is time for our last retrospective. Honestly, the end of Secret, at least to me, as someone who's covered a couple big girl groups in my history ofs, it just sounds familiar with these other groups where the company is clearly done with them. Like with 2NE1 and Miss A, the company is clearly done with their even undeniably massive girl groups, but they're still under contract. They can't just be like, okay, go find new management, we're done with you, because again, there's a contract, so like they just find random shit for them to do to run out the clock. The difference is, while JYP and YG are problematic to say the least, they're at least not TS. TS is literally the worst company ever, and while normally like a member leaves a group, right? Like we've covered other girl groups that have disbanded. When the member leaves a group, they just kind of go off and do their own thing. They find a new company, they do other stuff. The difference is TS forgot, or I should say didn't pay the members and ended up getting sued. Anyway, my point with this retrospective, Secret had such potential for like a second wave of popularity that TS, being the worst, just wasted. In short, this is very similar to my Miss A final retrospective, and honestly kind of my YG one. It's all the company's fault. And yeah, this has been my history of Secret. I would do a Where Are They Now section. I know I did one for Miss A. The thing is, I was looking at what the members have been up to. I feel like they haven't really been up to a bunch that's like worth mentioning. Mostly, they've just been acting and shit or putting out like the occasional single. It's not worth me really taking my time to do it, so just, I'm not gonna do one. But I will say, I had the time of my life making this, okay? I know I said that about all of them, but this one was different because I've been aware of Secret forever, right? Like, I was a huge BAP stan. I obviously knew about Secret, but I didn't know the, like, lore behind them. I didn't know what they were up to, and I feel like that was interesting because they never really had the same international reach that a lot of the bigger girl groups of their era did. Like, yes, obviously there was 2NE1, there was Girls' Generation who had, like, huge international reach, but you even have the groups like T-ara and Kara who had, like, the international fans, and I feel like Secret never really got that, in spite of the fact that they were putting out major hit singles in Korea. Like, Secret, as a collective, had 13 songs peak in the top 10 of the Gaon charts. Between the Melon and Gaon charts, they had 5 weeks at #1 with 4 #1 songs. They were putting out these massive hits. They were an undeniable powerhouse during their peak. and yet it feels like nobody knows who they are. Also, I am having so much fun right now making these slideshows. I don't think you understand. Like, I already know who my next history of is going to be for. Spoilers, it's a soloist. It's going to be a soloist. It's going to be interesting to do because I've never done a soloist, but it's going to be so fun. But I'm also having, like, the time of my life doing... I've noticed a specific, like, Venn diagram between the girl groups who debuted between, say, like, 2009 and 2011 that have a lot of similarities. And I'm just finding it fascinating. So, like, there will be more girl group history ups, okay? So, like, get excited for that. But until then, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned some stuff. I certainly did. But either way, feel free to like and subscribe if you want to. Or don't. I'll be okay either way. And in the description, I'm going to put a playlist that has all my other history ofs, so you can check those out if you so choose. And yeah, thank you again for watching. Bye!